How to solve a quadratic equation by completing the square. Now, we can solve a quadratic equation in just 5 simple steps. Dito, ituturo ko sa inyo muna yung 5 steps na yon sa pamamagitan ng mga examples na. Okay? Pero dito, let's have a short recap about our lesson last time. No? So, dinefine natin itong as our general quadratic equation o yung tinatawag na standard form. Ito ay trinomial kasi meron tayong 3 terms. And then, sa unang leading coefficient, yung A, hindi yan pwede mag-equal sa 0. Di ba? And then, yung A, B, C, these are the leading coefficient. Yung X, yan naman yung ating variable. Now, for our first example, meron tayong x squared. Ito yung given natin na x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 0. Now, so paano natin gagawin yan? So I want you to focus the 5 simple steps, no? So for the first step, you have to divide all terms by a. So ito, so lalagay ko muna yung first step natin, no? So dito, ano ba yung a natin? Yung a natin is yung first leading coefficient na 1. Diba? So alam naman natin na 1 ang ating first leading coefficient. If we divide this equation to 1, gawin natin, no? So what will happen to the left side of the equation first, no? Kung x squared plus 4x plus 1, it will be the same, no? X squared plus 4x plus 1. How about to the right side? That is 0. Okay, so ayun ang first step. Now, yung second step. Yung second step natin, we have to move the number term to the right side of the equation. Ang number term dito, yung ating third leading coefficient, which is yung 1. No? Ililipat daw natin yan sa right side ng ating equation. So, ang matitira sa left side ay x squared plus 4x equals negative 1. So that is our second step. You have to move the number term to the right side of the equation. So please take note. For the third term, yung third term naman natin, ang kailangan natin gawin is to complete the square on the left side of the equation. Then mamaya, ang gagawin natin is we will balance the equation dun sa right side by adding the same value to the both side. Okay? So, but first, let me write this equation. X squared plus 4x. So, ang gagawin natin dyan is I will write plus blank, no? Equals negative 1. Ito yung balance, di ba? Kung anong ginawa mo sa left side, gawin mo rin sa right side. Plus blank. So, that is our third step. So, ngayon, to continue our third step here, ang kailangan natin gawin dyan is to follow this format. No? We have to find this one. No? B. We change the color. We have to find this one. B over 2 raised to 2. Okay? Saan natin mahanap yung B dyan? Yung B natin dyan ay yung middle term or middle leading coefficient na 4. Okay? Ito yung B. Ngayon, if I divide 4 to 2, and then in-squared ko pa siya, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay? Quantity squared. Ang result ay magiging 4. Okay? So, ngayon, yung 4 na yan, dito ilalagay ko yan sa ating third term. Once again, to balance the equation, maglalagay din ako sa kabila. Okay, so that is our third step. We will have to complete the square on the left side. So ito na yan. Completed na ang ating square. At ibabalance natin yan dun sa right side ng ating equation. Para makuha natin yan, you have to apply this form. You have to get you have to divide the middle term to 2 and then squared nyo. Okay? So, ito yung lalabas. Now, for our fourth step, ito yung gagawin natin. Ang kailangan nating sundan na format naman, no? Ito yung kailangan nyong malaman. Meron tayong factor, no? Ito yun yung magiging factor. So, x plus b over 2. Pero this time, itong two terms, pa yung binomial natin, lalagyan natin ng squared sa labas. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag na factor. No? Ito yung tinatawag na factor ng perfect square na equation, perfect trinomial natin na equation. So, now let's apply, no? Let me write in this part, itong x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals negative 1 plus 4, that is positive 3. Okay? Now, let's factor this equation. Itong perfect trinomial natin. So, ang magiging format dyan, mayroon tayong, na yan, x plus b over 2. Once again, yung b natin is yung middle term na 4. Divide ko yan sa 2. Ang lalabas dyan ay 2. Okay? So, yung 2 dyan, tandaan natin, nanggaling yan sa b over 2. Yung b natin is yung 4. Yung 4, dinivide ko sa 2. That is 2. Quantity squared. Okay? Then, equals 3. Yung value sa right side. Okay, I'm sure familiar na tayo dito sa format na to. Pero hindi pa yun ang final answer, no? Okay? Kung natatandaan nyo, or kung na-review nyo yung lesson natin sa how to extract the square root, yun ang i-apply natin para sa fifth step natin. So, for our fifth step, I will apply the square root principle. So, we have x plus 2 equals positive or negative 3. Okay, may nakalimutan ako. Positive or negative or plus or minus square root of 3. Now, ang kailangan kasi nating maiwan lang sa kabila ay yung x value. So, para mangyari yon, no, I just transpose this one, this positive 2 to the right side para maiwan lang si x. Okay? So, plus or minus square root of 3, 2 to the right side, that is negative 2. Okay? Now we have this solution. So, para ma-identify natin, no, we have the first solution, square root of 3 minus 2, or x of 2 naman natin. Yung second solution natin is negative square root of 3 minus 2. And that's it. That is our first example. Okay, so meron lang tayong basic step, no? Just a few recap dun sa steps natin, no? For the first step, you have to divide the equation to the first leading coefficient. Ito 'yon, no? Since 1 lang naman yung leading coefficient dito, so we have the same equation. For the second step, ililipat natin si positive 1 or yung third term dun sa kabila, sa right side. Third step, complete the square. You have to use this one b over 2 quantity squared to find the third term. Okay? At you have to balance the equation. For the fourth step, to get the factor, you have to use this format. Since ito ay perfect trinomial na kasi, no? Perfect square trinomial, pwede natin gamitin to as our factor. And then yung b dito is yung middle term. Dinivide ko yun sa 2 kaya lumabas yung 2 dyan. Now, for our last step, to find the solution, the two solutions, you have to apply the square root principle. And that is the completing the square by and solving that is solving quadratic equation by completing the square. Okay, so let's move on to the next example. Okay, for our second example, we have to solve for 5x squared minus 4x minus 2 equals 0. So, ang hanapin natin dyan yung value ng variable or yung solution natin. Okay, so let's apply the 5 simple steps in completing this square. So, ang unang step, uh, yung unang step natin, we will divide the original equation to the first leading coefficient, which is yung 5. Okay? So, i-divide ko to both sides. Okay, so ganito yan ha. Yung 5x squared, ito muna yung gagamitin natin. I-divide natin yan sa 5. So, ang matitira lang dyan, so, we can cancel this 5. Ang lalabas dyan ay x squared. Okay? So, that is our first term. For our second term, negative 4x divided by 5. Ang lalabas naman dyan ay negative 4 over 5x. And dun sa last term naman, negative 2 divided by 5, we have negative 2 over 5. Ayan. Equals, yes, yan ay 0. Ngayon, sa next step natin, ito yung gagawin natin. We will move the number term, this negative 2 over 5 to the right side of the equation. So we have x squared. So move ko yan sa left kabila. Minus 4 over 5 x equals positive 2 over 5. And for our next step, ang kailangan natin gawin is to complete the square, both sides, no? Then we have x squared. Susulat ko muna yun dyan. Minus 4 over 5x. Magko-plus blank muna ako dyan, no? Equals 2 over 5 plus blank. Okay? Ngayon, gaya ng sinabi natin kanina, ito yung susundin natin equation or yung format, no? So we have b over 2 quantity squared, no? Para mahanap natin itong third term natin. So ngayon, para mahanap natin ang third term natin, ang b natin dito ay negative 4 over 5. So isulat ko muna yan dito, negative 4 over 5 divided by 2 at naka-raise yan sa 2. Ngayon, para hindi kayo mahirapan, no? I-type nyo na lang sa calculator to, negative 4 over 5 divided by 2. And then, i-raise nyo yung sagot sa 2. Pero ito yung manual process. If I have over 1 din dyan, kasi ang denominator nito is 1. No? So, para ma-identify natin, itong outside muna. Itong numerator, dinivide ko sa denominator dun sa baba. Meron akong negative 4 times 1. Sulat ko muna para hindi kayo nalilito. No? Ngayon, dun sa loob naman, itong denominator dun sa taas, ito di-divide ko naman sa numerator dun sa baba. So, meron tayong 5 times 2. Okay, ganun ko siya ginagawa. Then, yes, naka-square yan sa 2. Okay, yun ang paraan ko para makuha ko yung sagot ha. Ngayon, I'll simplify first the numbers inside the parentheses. Yun ang sinabi ni PEMDAS. Ito muna. Negative 4 times 1, we have negative, let me change the color, negative 4. Okay? Negative 5 times 2, that is 10. Quantity squared. Okay, not yet done. Pero kailangan pa natin kunin yung simplest form. No? Para makuha, kunin muna natin tong lowest term. No? Negative 4 over 10, ang lowest term natin ay meron tayong 2, negative 2 no? Over 5. Pero pwede natin isulat niyan as ganito, no? Negative 2 over 5. So in this case, sinulat ko na yung negative symbol, no? Para hindi na kayo malito dun sa gitna. Then, naka-square pa rin siya. Hindi pa rin tapos. So para magawa natin yan, sabi dun sa laws of exponent, no? Kapag may fraction, so numerator, squared nyo muna. No? Meron tayong 4 sa numerator. And denominator, square din natin. Yan ay 25. Okay? So, para mas mabilis, no? Try nyo na lang i-calculator to. At hindi na kayo magganito pa. Pero, ito na yung ating ilalagay sa ating third term, 4 over 25, both sides. Now, let's move on. For our fourth step, yung fourth step natin is, ito na. Kailangan natin i-apply itong ating format. So, meron ako ditong x plus b over 2 squared. Okay, yan yung factor natin dun sa given equation natin na x squared. Sulat ko muna yung given natin, minus 4 over 5 x. At yung nakuha nating third term na 4 over 25 equals 2 over 5 plus 4 over 25. If you simplify this two fraction, we have 14. So, meron ako ditong 14 over 25. Okay. So, like I said a while ago, this trinomial is a perfect trinomial. Okay? So that we can use this format para dito makuha natin yung factor natin. So, ngayon, try natin. Meron tayo ditong x plus yung b natin, which is yung negative 4 over 5 divided by 2. Okay, parang familiar to, no? Quantity squared. Ngayon, para magawa natin yan, kailangan po muna natin i-simplify itong fraction na to. So, equals yan sa x plus, kanina, di ba, sinold na natin yan. Ito yun eh. So, bago pa natin in-squared, ito yung lalabas. No? If you type this equation number sa calculator nyo, ang lalabas ay negative. Sorry, dapat ay negative na yan. Negative 2 over 5 raised to 2. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ito yung factor ng equation na to na yan. Okay? Equals yan sa 14 over 25. Hindi pa yan tapos. So, for our last step, ito yung last step natin. square root principle, no? I'll remove the square. We have x minus 2 over 5 equals plus or minus square root of 14 divided by 25. Okay? So, simplify ko muna ito bago ko ilipat si negative 2 over 5 sa kabila. No? X minus 2 over 5 plus or minus sa kabila square root of 14 divided by square root of 25. That is 5 only. Okay? 5 only. Now, that's the time na itatranspose ko sa kabila itong si 2 over 5, no? X equals plus or minus square root of 14 over 5 plus 2 over 5. And this is our final answer. Okay? So this is the completing the square. If you want to use it, you just follow the 5 simple steps, no, to find the solution.